Rip currents in the Atlantic and Gulf Coast are being blamed for at least 8 deaths since last week. The deaths happened in Florida and in New York State. These rip currents can move at speeds up to 8 feet per second. That is faster than an Olympic swimmer. CBS News correspondent Cristian Benavides has more on how Florida is reacting.
Jeff, it has been a difficult week here in Panama City Beach. Within the span of a week, you had 5 people who drowned after being pulled out by rip currents. That is why we're currently seeing this, a double red warning flag. What does that mean when you see 2 red flags flying? That means there are rip currents out there. That means it's too dangerous to be in the water. In fact, here in Panama City Beach, if you're out on the water, you are fined $500. And if you rack up so many fines, you can even face jail time for being out there and defying the double red flag warning. We went out with the lifeguards today, and we saw the daunting task that they have in front of them, letting tourists know that they can't be out on the water. And yet, despite the recent deaths and despite the flags being out, we saw tourists that were out on the water because a lot of times they don't know about what's been happening. They don't know that they shouldn't be out there, and that's why the lifeguards were out there. We spent the day with them and saw what they had to do. So it's not just happening here on the west coast of Florida, on the Gulf Coast of Florida. You had 2 deaths on the east coast of Florida as well due to rip currents. And guess what? Summer just got started. We're seeing a lot of tourists down here, and it's going to be a long summer for so many folks, as particularly for these lifeguards who are trying to warn people to stay out of dangerous waters. Jeff?
Oh, Cristian, thank you very much. For more, Wyatt Werneth joins us. He's the public service spokesperson for the American Lifeguard Association. It looks like you're in a vehicle that you use to patrol and help keep people safe. So thank you for your time. Can you remind us why rip currents are so dangerous?
Thanks for having me, guys. Number one thing here is we need more lifeguards. We only think about lifeguards once a year, and this is that time. So we definitely need more lifeguards. Your chances of drowning in front of a lifeguard are 1 in 18 million. And rip currents are here. It's Mother Nature. They're a wild part of what we do. So you also need to know before you go. You need to go on the internet, visit a location, and find out where those dangers might be. Find out where those lifeguards are and swim in front of them.
Yeah, so that's interesting because you can put the red, what you said off the top there, you can put the red flags out, but if people don't know what those are, they may still go in the water. You're saying we need more lifeguards to basically just tell people you got to stay out.
Absolutely. Lifeguards are so important because they warn people. They're like beach ambassadors. They welcome people to the beach. They can tell people where to be on the beach that's safe, where there's no rip currents, because we know where they are. We can warn you when there's lightning. We can warn you about sharks. And no other 911 profession can do that. The law enforcement and the fire department, EMS, they respond when something happens. Lifeguards take preventative actions, and we prevent people before they get into danger. And it's a very valuable superpower that's overlooked. And I think we need more lifeguards. If we had lifeguards in a lot of these areas where we had these tragedies, guarantee there wouldn't have been a drowning because people would have been educated about the dangers, and the lifeguards would have been there to help them.
Interesting. Wyatt, we try to drill it into our kids every time we're on a beach, and we pay attention to when these red flag warnings are happening. But for those unfamiliar, and if somebody actually gets caught in one and doesn't pay attention and they go in, can you remind us what you're supposed to do if you get caught in a rip current?
Well, drowning can be prevented. It takes many things to prevent it. And one of the things is start at home. Do your research, assign a water watcher, put the children in Coast Guard approved life jackets, and know the area. Again, find out where those lifeguards are. But if you do happen to find yourself at a beach and you go in and you get caught in a rip current, the most important thing is do not panic. You want to relax. You want to try to get someone's attention. If you can't swim very well, you hopefully that there's some flotation nearby. But the most important thing is to call 911 and get the lifeguards rolling out and stay calm. That's where everyone loses it, is that they get scared. They start exerting a lot of energy, and then they go under or aspirate water and drown. So you can get out. They can be prevented. and they are something that is not life-threatening. You know how to deal with them.
How far is there a typical, like, how far do rip currents typically drag you out if you're just supposed to go with it?
Well, they're different depending on the demographics of the area. A theory is, like our beach here, we have what we call dips right next to each other. Everywhere there's a dip, there's a rip. You can't really swim parallel and go one way or the other because you swim right into another one. So the most important thing is just kind of relax and kind of time it, and you can get out of that rip because rips are unique. There's no particular depth or length or how strong they are. It's really all about how the person can handle the water confidence, make their way back to shore safely, or ask for help as needed without panicking.
Yeah. It's still the hardest thing, though, because you tell people to stay calm in these situations, and when they feel their life is on the line, anyone, predictably and understandably, so many people panic. But we'll hope to not see more of these situations like we saw this weekend through the rest of the summer. Wyatt Werneth, thank you very much.